Top 7 Best Gaming CPU in 2022. Through extensive research and testing, I have put together the list of options that will meet the need of different types of buyers. So whether it's price, performance, or particular use, we have got you covered. For more information, I have put links of products in the description. Make sure to check it out. Like the video, comment, don't forget to subscribe, and let's get started. Number 7. AMD Ryzen 7 5700G. AMD APU are the best processors to drop into your rig if you're not going to use a discrete graphics card, but still want a modicum of gaming performance out of your system. And the AMD Ryzen 7 5700G is the best of the latest Zen 3 base chips to deliver that. Unlike previous APU offerings from AMD, the Ryzen 7 5700G is far more of a jack-of-all-trades chip, because we are talking about an 8-core Zen 3 CPU component with 16 threads and a powerful Vega-based GPU to back it up. That makes this a chip that's almost up there with the best of the Ryzen 5000 series CPU in processing power, but with a graphical grunt to deliver 1080 gaming on low settings in some seriously demanding titles. Number 6. Intel Core i5 10400F. The Core i5 10400F is a surprisingly exciting option. Even long after its first release date, this processor is still available at a great price. Not only that, it's slightly faster than the Core i5 9400 that came before it, but that F suffix means it ditches the Intel integrated graphics completely. That's not a problem for gamers unless you want to use QuickSync, although Nvidia's NVENC is arguably better anyway. Overall, it's an excellent budget-friendly choice that doesn't cost much more than a Core i3 part. There are other compromises, like the locked multiplier, no overclocking here, but you can save money and grab an H470 motherboard. At least you get a cooler in the box, something we'd like to see as an option with every CPU. Most boards will happily run the 10400F at 3.9 GHz, so don't worry about the low base clock. Advertisement. While the i5 10400F may not be as fast as other CPU in multi-threaded tests, in our gaming suite, it's tied with AMD 3900X. Future games may start to push beyond its 6-core capabilities, but probably not before you're ready for an upgrade. Right now, the i5 10400F is plenty fast and extremely affordable. Number 5. AMD Ryzen 5 5600X. The Ryzen 5 5600X has lost some of its shine since the Core i5 12400 released. Intel's chip just pips it in gaming performance and is available for a fair bit less money. That said, the reason we still feel the Ryzen 5 5600X worth mentioning is that, while it's a great chip in its own right, it's also a lot cheaper if you're upgrading from another older M4 compatible processor. Say you have a B450 motherboard in your PC today with a previous generation AMD Ryzen chip. You could make a simple swap for the Ryzen 5 5600X if you wanted to. That could save you a lot of cash on a compatible motherboard, which you definitely need to drop if you picked up an Intel 12th Gen chip. There's also very little between any of the Ryzen 5000 chips in games, which means you'll hit the same frame rates with this chip as you will the more expensive Ryzen 9 5900X. Which is incredible when you think about it. Top-tier performance from the most affordable Zen 3 CPU. We'll say yes to that every single day. This does have half the core count of the 5900X, rolling in as it does with 6 cores and 12 threads. However, this is only an issue with those more serious workloads, which is more than sufficient for more reasonable stuff. Number 4. AMD Ryzen 9 5900X. AMD's Zen architecture has improved with each generation, but the fact that AMD managed to knock out 19% IPC improvement with Zen 3 is nothing short of staggering. The key takeaway for us as gamers is that this improvement means AMD pushed Intel to improve, and improve it did with Alder Lake. Whatever resolution you are gaming at, this processor can handle it and keep your graphics card of choice fed with many juicy frames. The fact that this is a 12-core, 24-thread monster means that it can cope with anything else you throw at it as well. So if you have dreams of 3D rendering, video editing, or any other serious tasks, you'll know that you have the raw grunt to handle it, that it won't hold you back when gaming makes it even sweeter. The only real downside is the pricing and the dropping of the rate cooler. Don't forget to factor in when you buy. You do get what you pay for, though, and this is a phenomenal chip for gaming and anything else you might want to do. Number 3. Intel Core i5 12400. The Core i5 12400 is nearing a legendary status in the Alder Lake lineup, and that's because of its unprecedented ability to overclock where it shouldn't. The lack of a K at the end of the Core i5 12400's name should denote its lack of overclocking prowess, but somewhere in the silicon it has the ability for BCLK overclocking. With a motherboard capable of taking advantage of the Core i5 12400's overclocking ability, we managed to push this little chip that could to 5.2 GHz rather happily. It didn't run too hot or too power hungry to do it either, though you will need to be considerate of cooling potential before attempting this. Similarly, Intel doesn't recommend anyone does this, though that's true of pretty much any overclocking nowadays. The company also could close the door on the non-K series overclocking at some point, so keep that in mind if that's the sole reason you're thinking of purchasing this chip. If you're not looking to overclock in the slightest, however, don't fret. The Core i5 12400 was already impressive without its secret ability, and with cooler included at this price tag, it's one hell of a great deal. Number 2. Intel Core i9 12900K. That the Core i5 12600K takes the top spot is hard to argue with. Awesome performance at a good price will do that, but Intel's top chip hitting the second spot may be a little more surprising. The reasoning here is that the vast majority of gamers should get the Core i5, leaving the second spot covering those that need even more performance. If you're building a high-end PC not just for high-end 4K gaming, but for more serious pursuits like 3D rendering and video editing, then this is the chip for you. It's a powerhouse, no question about it, but one that really needs a system built around it to make it shine. You'll need a beefy PSU to get that absolute best from it, and a serious cooler wouldn't hurt either. The fact that there is plenty of overclocking headroom will allow you to push it to a whole new level as well. Advertisement. When it comes to gaming performance, this is the fastest chip out there, by a considerable margin. The problem is, you only get a few more frames per second over our top recommendation, and you have to pay royally for the privilege. And even when you're buying an enthusiast class CPU, you still need to have an eye on overall value for money. Number 1. Intel Core i5 12600K. Intel's 12th Gen Alder Lake processors are a vital return to form for Intel. Its underlying hybrid design was seen as a gamble when it was first announced, with its combo of performance and efficient cores not obviously bringing much to the desktop experience. It's a gamble that has unquestionably paid off though, and the gaming performance offered by Intel's latest CPU is nothing short of incredible. The Core i5 12600K is the standout processor for gamers because it not only offers great gaming performance across the board, but it does so at a price point that isn't going to reduce you to tears. It not only beats the similarly priced 5600X in pretty much every game, but it outperforms the $750 Ryzen 9 5950X in plenty of tests too. That it soundly beats the Core i9 11900K is just the icing on the cake. Not bad for a $320 mid-range chip. So guys, that's all for the top 7 best gaming CPU in 2022. The links of all products are given in the description, which are updated for the best prices. Subscribe our channel for more videos. We will meet in next video. Till then, take care. Bye.